The city of West Hollywood is like no other city in the world. Located in the heart of metropolitan Los Angeles, the city was incorporated in 1984. At only 1.9 square miles, West Hollywood is a robust economic and cultural center instilled with idealism, creativity, and innovation. A spirit of community activism and civic pride thrives in West Hollywood for many of its approximately 35,000 residents. The city has a strong progressive political voice and is filled with rich history. A history of bringing together and uniting diverse cultures to build a municipality that leads by example. A city that has become a beacon of hope, acceptance, and tolerance for all who call it home. One such diverse group is a community of people from various regions of the former Soviet Union. At the time of cityhood, this group represented approximately 20% of the city's population. Over the years, that percentage has dropped, and according to a 2013 survey of the community in West Hollywood, there are nearly 4,000 people who live in the city who identify a former country of the Soviet Union as a primary ancestry. This now represents approximately 11% of the city's total population. Hello, my name is Kristina Diadenko. I am originally from the Republic of Latvia, where most of the population speaks Russian. For the past 7 years, I have lived, worked, and played in and around the beautiful city of West Hollywood and consider myself a part of the large Russian-speaking community who calls West Hollywood home. As the city continues to nurture and preserve the rich culture and traditions of the Russian people, who over the past 30 years have helped weave the beautiful tapestry that is now known as the city of West Hollywood. They were born in the 1920s. They lived under Stalin. They found themselves in the 1940s fighting for Stalin, while their homes were seized and occupied by the Nazis. Their families were shipped off to death camps in the Holocaust. They survived a horrific war where millions lost their lives. They won the war. Then they were oppressed again under Stalin, sent to work camps, their religious freedom completely suppressed. Suddenly, in the 1970s, there was a beacon of hope. There was a movement occurring here in the United States that was fighting for the refuseniks. Refuseniks was an unofficial term for individuals, typically, but not exclusively Soviet Jews, who were denied permission to emigrate. As a rule, refuseniks were fired from their workplaces and denied the employment for which they were trained. They were forced to find menial work, such as street sweeping, or face imprisonment on the charge of social parasitism. In the end, the movement here succeeded. The floodgates finally opened, and Jews gained the right to immigrate, 1 million to Israel, and around 500,000 to other countries, including the United States. Supervisor Yaroslavsky and Congressman Waxman were instrumental in advocating for and bringing here to Southern California as many of the Russian Jews as possible. And they settled in what is now the city of West Hollywood. Between 1975 and 1984, Greater Los Angeles became home to some 21,500 Jewish refugees, over 80% of them from the Soviet Union, with each of them in search of a better tomorrow and an escape from the severe oppression of the Soviet Union. Having settled in an unincorporated area of Los Angeles County, the largest Russian settlement in the US, this group found themselves in 1984 taking center stage in an election that would forever change and reshape their community into the newly incorporated city. Due to its unusual boundaries, the new fledgling city of West Hollywood inherited this large group of Russian-speaking immigrants, and this infant city found itself facing many challenges. The most important being cohesively merging two very distinct and sometimes opposing cultures into one, and finding unity living side by side. It wasn't always smooth sailing, but now, some 30 years later, the Russian-speaking community in West Hollywood is thriving, as is the city of West Hollywood. It takes great courage to leave behind one's homeland, friends, and sometimes family to travel halfway around the globe to a country where even the language is unknown, or at least a challenge. But many did just that. And although at times it was frightening, now they can't imagine living in any other place. Some assimilated easily, and for others it was a struggle. Forging a new path in the new country was challenging at best.
Уехал я главным образом из-за того, что мои сыновья приходили ко мне в кабинет весом в этот институт и говорили: папочка, мы в твоей стране не можем найти работу. А один из них был кандидат наук, причем талантливый и способный, и мог работать. И он действительно приходил в разные организации, просил его принять на работу. Говорю: о, нам нужен такой инженер. Потом: а как ваше имя, отчество? И он им говорил, что Борис Наумович Резник. И на следующий день или через день они заявляли, что эта должность пропала.
And in spite of the challenges, there were self-discoveries, new revelations, and of course, many successes.
Мы тогда приезжали без копейки денег в кармане. И когда ты приезжаешь, и у тебя нету ни одного доллара в кармане, ты не знаешь английского языка, это как жизнь начинается сначала. Я и собак стриг, и пицца-деливери делал, и от лаборатории драйвером был. Уже даже не было ни одна, было много.
I'm very grateful to my mom and just my parents in general for bringing me here, because I got to do a lot of things I think I wouldn't have gotten to do in Russia. There was a lot of people here who were very encouraging for me to go on and do pretty much anything I wanted to do. Again, of course, the schools helped me learn the language, so that's very helpful in success.
I'm Eugene Alper. In 1995, I was hired as the City of West Hollywood's first Russian outreach coordinator. My role was to create a bridge between City Hall and the Russian-speaking community. For the Russians who came to City Hall, I usually was the first point of contact. I helped them with the translation, I assisted them with understanding how the city operated. For city staff, I was the linguistic and cultural support. Today, the city recognizes that the Russian-speaking community is aging, and there will be a time when they will be here no more, to tell their stories, the stories of their life, their struggle, how they lived in the Soviet Union, how they left the Soviet Union, how they immigrated to the United States, and how they settled in the city of West Hollywood. It is for this reason that the city has compiled an oral history with dozens of interviews with immigrants from the former Soviet Union. And they're all stored right here in the city of West Hollywood's Russian language library. You see, when we were leaving the Soviet Union, we were only allowed to take 2 suitcases. And people inevitably ask themselves, what is important? What do I want to carry with me from my old life to my new life? Many people took books. Pushkin, Lermontov, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, they're all here. It is here that the city will archive its oral history project so that these stories are available for generations to come. Right here, in the city of West Hollywood.
This provided the first important bridge to the city's Russian-speaking community, offering them understanding about and access to city services. Over time, other Russian-speaking staff members were added, as well as Russian-speaking deputies in the sheriff's department. Over the years, it became increasingly clear that the city needed to provide greater support and understanding of the mindset, the culture, and the special needs of the Russian enclave, and in 2000 created a Russian advisory board whose focus would be to inform the city council on issues unique to this important group while attempting to integrate more of this community into city government. The city, together with the Russian Advisory Board, produces several major annual events that showcase the rich cultural heritage of the Russian people. The largest one is the Russian Arts and Culture Week, held in the month of May each year. The Russian Arts and Culture Week has become an integral part of the Russian-speaking community and the entire city of West Hollywood. The cultural pride is derived from sharing its values, beliefs, identity, and self-expression with one another and the Southern California community as a whole. It's an exciting week of festivities which culminates with the Russian Festival. It's an amazing, fun, and exciting event filled with music, dance, theater, and of course, Russian food. Its vivid cultural and ethnic flavor grabs the attention of many Los Angeles area political and cultural leaders. The festival has become a very important event in the life of Russian-speaking community and the entire city of West Hollywood. Как давно вы приехали в Америку?
7 лет назад. Вы знаете, я люблю, наверное, Россию у себя в сердце, но не себя в России. Так что я предпочитаю жить здесь, но продолжаю ценить и продолжать русскую культуру. Теперь мне очень здесь нравится. Я работаю в сфере недвижимости и общаюсь по профессии со многими людьми, в том числе с русскими и американцами.
Но мои дети, которые жили не только со мной, один в Украине, там была такая антисемитская обстановка, что он не мог больше жить, и мы должны были немедленно выезжать. И так мы очутились здесь, в Лос-Анджелесе.
Я художник, я поэт русскоязычный. Хоть я художником, я приехал художником, поэтому я стал здесь. Страна, где человек может стать поэтом, прекрасная.
Я приехал 18 лет из Украины, с города-героя Киева. Проживаю в Лос-Анджелесе и очень доволен, что я здесь.
Another one of the incredible celebrations put on each year by the city, in collaboration with the Russian Advisory Board, is a much more somber event, but one that is just as important culturally. It is a celebration of Victory in Europe Day. Celebrated each year, this annual event is a day of remembrance of an estimated 27 million people who died during World War II. For 70 years now, May 9 has remained a time of celebration and remembrance of the end of World War II, when German troops unconditionally surrendered to the Allies. Also in Plummer Park, and very much a focal point for the Victory in Europe Day celebration, is a large monument the city, along with the Russian community, designed and installed in the spring of 2005. This monument honors World War II veterans and is the only monument in the United States that honors veterans of a foreign army. Rising to an 8-foot, 6-inch peak, the slanting 7-ton triangular red granite monument features 3 white cranes and the engravings of 4 lines from a poem titled Cranes by Soviet poet Razul Gamzatov. The poem became a much-loved song in Russia about World War II soldiers who never made it home. And now, after 30 years, both the Russian community and the city of West Hollywood are thriving, and most wouldn't live anywhere else.
В данный момент я являюсь членом комиссии Public Facility Commissioner, appointed by Mayor of City of She was a mayor, Abby Land, и я принимаю какое-то участие, как это волонтерская позиция в организации парков и общественных мест в городе. И я очень рада, что я могу помочь, и что мое мнение в этом городе особенно ценят мое мнение и мою помощь. как нигде в другом городе, я думаю, что это замечательно, то, что этот город делает для нас. И хочется что-то вернуть, и я с удовольствием это делаю.
11% of the population of West Hollywood is comprised of immigrants from the former Soviet Union. Upon arriving in a new land, they found that they would not be alone in their struggles. In the people and government of West Hollywood, they found new friends who extended a helping hand, giving them the opportunity to realize their dreams, and most of all, to find a place in their new home.